Hey guys, what's up? Just wanted to point this out. This is one of those things that's really kind of irritating about the way they do this game in the weekend ranks. I'm sure you've heard of D-ranking, okay? And all that means is before the weekend games begin, which of course we'll talk about in just a second here, just in case nobody is, or somebody out there is not aware of what these weekend ranked games are. Well, what people do to maximize their potential is they D-rank, meaning they just lose a bunch of games right before the weekend. They drop down from, I don't know, say Solar Gold down to, I don't know, some other lower rank, a few ranks lower. And then when the weekend game starts, then they start just kicking everybody's butt because their deck is largely superior to the areas that they've already passed and gone. And you know, and I understand, like, I get it, because once you get to a portion of this game where the deck kind of locks you into who you're going to be, and you kind of can't get past it because everybody above you has more difficult decks. Well, work harder, you know, grind harder. Look at maybe some of the flaws in your own deck. See if there's some cards maybe you own that you missed, and you can swap out and create a better meta. Okay, but and the reason I'm bringing this up is because I was playing these weekend games this past weekend. Of course, it is Sunday night, so I am. I've completed those games, and I started at Auric Gold and I finished at Auric Gold. But I think the craziest part is that when I started at Gold, I got my ass beat for, I don't know, 10 games. I think I won 1 out of 10 or something like that to start. It was very, very dismal. And it was a bunch of people that had deranked from Ethereal Diamond or Mythic, and they were just kind of beating my ass with these really, really, really expensive and decks, cards that I don't have. And again, I understand that's the way this game works and the ranking system and all the rest of that. I get it. But I'm going to make the case here that if you D-rank in this game, you may be padding your equity in the short term, all right, by beating up on the smaller fish in the ocean. But what's going to happen is you're also discouraging some of those people from playing, because they're going to think it's pay to win. They're going to take off. They're going to do something else, right? They're going to find other things to do with their time. And that's not what we want to do here. The whole idea of me doing this channel and talking about this game is we want this game to explode, right? We're in the alpha level. I wish I was in on this game 6 months sooner than I was. But the point is that if you are D-ranking to beat the snot out of inferior decks, you're going to run people off. You've heard the term rage quit. They're going to actually rage quit and maybe not come back. And that's not good. In the long term for your equity, you're hurting yourself, all right? Okay, so the weekend games, we know exactly what this is. The weekend games are what they are, okay? And you can earn packs by your first 25 games played on the weekend, and it depends on your actual rank when you begin. Okay, so what people do is they D-rank a couple ranks, 3 ranks, 2 or 3, and then they just beat the snot out of people and they get a better reward. All right, and so I'm going to point this out because I ran into some of these folks, right? Some of these individuals, and you can see here. I hate to call people out. Maybe this is a misunderstanding. All right, I'm going to leave it open as a possible misunderstanding because the way this works is I don't actually know, but it definitely looks suspicious, doesn't it? If you look at this guy, right? He's got all his games played, and they were all played by the time I met him last night sometime. All right, but if you look at his graph here, and let's just make this larger so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. This guy Fafa Bowl, and if you're out there, Fafa Bowl, and you see this video and you can explain, well, I'd love to hear an explanation here. But I just, again, I'm not trying to call people out and make this contentious. I just want to say, look, there are better ways to do this. We're trying to increase equity in the game as a whole, which will increase our equity as well. And D-ranking to do that, it's not helping us, okay? It's not helping you or us long term. So here we go, right? So we have this guy started at he's got 21 of 25 wins, right? And of course that's good, right? He's capping out at 16 here because he started at Twilight Shadow. But if you look at the graph over here on the right side, suspiciously, January 14th is Friday. So 14, 15, 16 is Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and this guy, just before the weekend event, just took a tumble, right? And is that running bad luck? Maybe. So he was up here cruising, around the 1200 range. You saw he dipped a little bit, kind of went back up. Been hanging solid for a few days, no problem. But then just before the weekend, it dumps. All right. Now this can be chalked up to bad luck. Okay. Now I want to make sure I'm not outright accusing this guy of D-ranking intentionally, because I've had some pretty horrific runs where just the cards don't go your way for 10 games, 12 games or so, and you get your ass handed to you. But running into people that legitimately shouldn't be at the rank you're at, including this Twilight Shadow rank here, I find when I'm at Twilight Shadow, I kick people's butts. It starts to become more challenging when I reach Auric and Solar Gold, okay? But so point being, again, if you're out there faffable, nothing malicious here. I just want to point out that this is the way this works and why people do these things. And you see, so he capped out because of his starting Twilight Shadow at 16 wins. But me, on the other hand, if you look at mine, you can see that I didn't D-rank and I got 12 of 25 wins, okay? Because I started at Auric Gold, and where did I finish? At Auric Gold, all right? Now, I'm not trying to use this as some sort of virtue signal and say that I'm all the great things about the world or anything like that. But what I am saying is, don't D-rank to squish the people with inferior decks. Don't do it, because long term you're hurting your own equity. Even though maybe in the short term you're going to get another pack or two, don't do it. Absolutely do not do it. I implore you, if you're out there watching this, challenge yourself, all right? Do the right thing and spend time looking at your deck and why maybe it's maxing out. Maybe you have cards you haven't considered that will actually improve your meta and the deck you're playing. Maybe swap decks. Maybe you haven't tried. I've only tried Nature and Death, and the reason I'm doing that is because I don't want to try and get all the cards at once. Once I'm competent and even maybe, let's say, Ethereal Diamond or Mythic and start actually performing well, then I'm going to spread it out and start getting some of the other cards for the other decks. But there's just too many at the start here. So point being is again, I don't want to say that I'm not accusing this guy. I'm saying it looks suspicious, all right? If again, if you're faffable out there and you can actually prove that this is not the case, fine. But the reason I bring it up is because I did get my ass handed to me this week. Again, 12 of 25 wins. That's not typical of the way I play. That's not typical if you look at these swings, right? I did have January 11th. I had a big swing from about 1260 to 1120. You see that? Somewhere in that range. But that's not huge. That's what, 100 points. That's 100 points. But he actually dropped 200 points, you see? So that's what I'm saying here. This swing it doesn't seem to be indicative of an actual run bad. It seems to be something else. But so anyway, this guy aside, don't worry about that little guy. I'm sure he's a nice fellow. But what I'm asking from you is, please don't D-rank to squish the people with inferior decks, all right? Just to squeeze out an extra card or two. It may seem like you found some amazing way to game the system, but let me tell you, you're not gaming anything. You're only hurting your long-term equity and the rest of us. So don't do this, all right? That's what I'm asking from you. Challenge yourself, make yourself better with your current deck meta, swap decks, do whatever you have to do, but please don't D-rank. It's an ugly look, and it makes people below us frustrated. It makes them not interested in the weekend events, which we want them to be. It makes them not want to come back and play, okay? So if you lose some gutty games in a row by some miracle turn of a card, it happens. It happens to all of us, all right? And it happens to go in these horrible cycles sometimes where it's like 10 games in a row. You'll win 2 out of 10 or something, right? But it happens. Look at me again for the weekend, 12 of 25, and I'm pretty sure I won like the first 1 of 9 or something like that, or 2 of 10. It was something like that, right? But it was decks that were superior to mine because they had D-ranked for the most part. There was some bad luck mixed in there as well, and of course I made a couple mistakes because that's just the way this game works. Okay, so I'm just asking you, please don't D-rank. Don't do this. Don't game the system. Don't try and cut off your nose to spite your face, because your long-term equity in this game is far more important than a couple more packs today. Okay, there you go. If you like the videos, like and subscribe. Catch you next one, guys.